Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Yulisa. I am a notary public and a loan signing agent, and in today's video we're going to be talking about starting your notary business in 2023. If you have not yet started your notary business and you're thinking about starting one because you're seeing them all over the place, or you got your notary stamp just hanging in there, not doing anything for you, then this is your sign that maybe it's time to start that notary business that you've been wanting to. And so yeah, let's just get right into the video. So the video is going to have a little bit of everything, like a little bit of pros and cons, a little bit behind the business. We'll just talk for a while. So I just really hope that this video is inspirational to you if you're a notary public already or thinking about becoming a notary public and you're hardworking, dedicated professional. Like, this is a profession for you. What are you waiting for? I hope that in the end of this video you are motivated enough to go ahead and do it and chase your dreams, because you got this. Let's talk about the notary business, what it entails, what it is. I get a lot of questions on what even is a loan signing agent. And so the notary business / loan signing agent, which is when you specialize in notarizing real estate transactions, seller documents, purchase documents of when you buy a home or refinance a home, etc. Those types of transactions and documents, those are usually what make you the most money when it comes to your notary stamp. I do get a lot of questions on like the fees and everything. It all depends on your state. It all depends on the area where you're at. If you're just a notary public and you're just notarizing a single document or 2-3 documents, you can only charge what your state allows. For example, Arizona only allows me to charge $10 per every document that I notarize. But when it comes to real estate closings, I can charge a flat fee for the entire real estate signing that I execute, which is completely different. So that's just a little bit of background and insight on what that is. Let's talk about the notary business in 2023, how it's been, how it's going. It's definitely a much slower market than I've seen in the past 2-3 years that I've been in the business, but it's still well enough. You just really have to get out there and continue to work really hard and market yourself. I don't live in a big enough city, and so that's why it's been a little bit more hard for me when it comes to income, because everyone is willing to just drive to the title companies because it's such a small town. But you have to always remember and always market yourself the right way, correctly, to your title company, to your escrow officers, to your realtors. Let them know what it is that you bring to the table, like what an addition you are to the table. Like, you are a team player, you're part of their team. With you, they can do a lot more. Escrow officers will have more time to work on other things that are more prioritized for them that only they can do. When you take a signing for them, you just free up their time a little bit more. And something that you always have to remember is just that's what the real estate market is all about. It has its ups and its downs, just like about anything with the economy. You'll have a really, really peak high season of business, and then you'll have a not so high peak season, and it's just kind of a thing that you have to learn to navigate through. Something that I've learned from realtors and lenders is learn how to navigate through those times by saving up for them. So when you have an amazing month and you make $8,000-$10,000 a month, don't go out and spend them all. Don't go out and get even more debt or a more expensive vehicle or anything like that. Keep your expenses the same throughout, and the excess money that you made, put it into a savings. Invest some of that money, because then there's going to be a time when you're not going to make as much money and you're going to want to have enough money to cover for those low times and those low periods. So a lender once told me that, and I was like, that is so true. Like, that's how realtors and lenders think and how they operate. Is sometimes there'll be a really great season and you gotta save when that season is there, and then once business is not as big or as busy, then you can use up some of your savings funds. Or sometimes you don't even have to use your savings if you don't increase your expenses, and overall that is the goal. You don't want to keep increasing your expenses as you grow older. It's actually the other way around. You want to make sure that you're always paying off your debt and just decreasing your expenses as much as possible. So let's get a little bit into like the pros and cons of starting a business overall. Well, in a notary business, not a business, because there's a lot to starting a business, but we're talking about starting a notary business. If you want a video on like starting a business and what it takes and like the LLC and paperwork and like all the things, the upkeeping of it, taxes, IRS, let me know and I can make a video on like that. But this is just starting a notary business. And so let's get a little bit into the pros and the cons of starting a notary business. So let's start with the cons and get those out of the way, and then we'll end the video more on a positive note, the pros on why you should. So let's start with the cons. Right now in 2023, there is a lot less business than there was in the past 3 years. We did have this huge COVID boom because interest rates were at their all-time low, and so we had so many people refinancing, so many people buying and selling, and there's a lot of people that have 2, 3, 4% interest rates on their homes right now, and they're just holding on to them even though they want to move. I've seen a lot of people say that and talk about that, and it is very real right now. And so that's what's been going on a little bit. Obviously, with the higher interest rates, less people want to jump in and get a mortgage, or less people even qualify for a mortgage at this point for what they're looking for in their price range, what is fit for their family, etc. There's a lot of factors into home buying. You don't just one day wake up and want to buy a home and go and buy it. I mean, maybe some people, but it's a process. And so it's just, obviously you have to keep in mind that it's a different business, but if you're starting your business right now, you have nothing to compare it to. So that's not even something you have to worry about. But if you have been looking at like videos of other creators that are notary publics and how much money they've made, you might notice a little bit of a difference, because a lot of us have been around for a while, and we did get that huge COVID boom where we were taking like 80, 90 signings a month, which is still doable, but you have to have a lot of clients to do that, and we'll get into that a little bit later into the video. And then the other con is you're just going to have to do a lot more marketing, a lot of marketing. You're going to have to make sure that you're everywhere on all social media sites, that you have flyers up and above, that you go to other businesses in your area and just let them know what you do. If you don't tell people what you do, no one's going to know what you do, and they can't recommend you. Referrals are oftentimes free when you just go into an office, any office. It doesn't have to even be a particular like real estate office. It could just be a lawyer's office, or I don't know, sometimes investment companies or wealth management companies or doctor's offices. They have clients that might need a notary, so they can have your business cards or your flyers or whatever that you can bring in. And those are free referrals. You just spend on your marketing materials, your business cards and your flyers, and that's not that expensive. Another con is driving a lot. With this business comes driving a lot, like a lot. Like I put 60,000 miles in my Jeep in like 2 years, 2.5 years, something like that. A lot, that's what I mean. I live in a small town, so that was a lot of miles. And so if you do not like driving, if driving is something that you can't really see yourself doing for a living, because you're basically going to be driving half of the time, and then the other half is printing documents and actually at the signing, and 50% of the job is driving all over the place all the time. And if something that you can't do is driving, either try to figure out ways that you can do to make driving better for you, either podcast, music, ebooks, anything that'll facilitate driving, or then maybe this is not the profession for you because it does entail a lot of driving. And with that, there's another con. Obviously, there's a lot of wear and tear in your vehicles. On your vehicles. You're using them constantly, a lot of gas, a lot of mileage. Gotta upkeep them a lot more frequently than you normally would any other job. Another con, because some people might see it as a con, you're your own boss. While that comes with a lot of freedom and it's amazing and you feel like this is exactly what I've always wanted, there comes a lot of responsibility with becoming your own boss, because now you do not have an employer to keep you in line when you're not doing the things that you're supposed to be doing, or the things that you say that you'll do and then you don't do. So it's just like accountability is something that I struggle with. Like, I'll be like, oh, I'll do that, I'll mark it, I'll go, I'll film a YouTube video, and then I don't do it. So that's something that is a little complicated for me, because I tend to be like, it's okay, I can do it tomorrow. When if we had an employer who told us do this right now, you would go and do it, but you wouldn't do it for yourself in your business. So that's something that is still a constant struggle, and it's a huge con for a lot of people. And with that comes this other point, when being your own boss means you don't have an employer to pay half of your taxes anymore, so you do have to pay your full taxes, but there is a pro there, because you do get to write off a lot of business expenses. So everything kind of outweighs itself. Like, there's cons and there's pros, but there is a lot of responsibility to becoming your own boss. You have to be on top of those IRS deadlines, your state tax deadlines, and everything. Like, you have to be a very organized person to run your business. So having systems in place and computer programs and anything that'll remind you when you need to get things done and help you be organized is what you'll need to run your business. I think those are our cons. It's not that many, and it's nothing to really scare you or discourage you, but it's more so to really make you aware of what it is that you might want to work on a little bit more. Make sure that you think about before you jump into creating a business. A lot of people think that it's just, oh, I'm going to be a notary and I'm going to go out and do some signings and it's cool. But there's a lot more to it than just that. Like, it's a business that you're creating. Like, think about that for a second. It's your business, you're a business owner, so there's a lot more behind the scenes, a lot of more upkeeping and maintenance, a lot of more things that now have to come out of your pocket and your expenses. And so it is a lot more than just being a notary and executing signings. There is a lot more. And so anyways, we're going to get into the pros. The things why you should become a notary public and a loan signing agent. And I do say notary public and loan signing agent, but when you are a notary public, you can add a lot more services to your notary public than just loan signings. And I do have a video on that if you're interested in watching that. There's a lot more than you can do with your notary stamp than just real estate closings. But since that's more what I specifically do, that's why I say that. One of the big pros why you should be a notary public and a loan signing agent, if you're not one yet and you're thinking about being one, is honestly, there are a lot of unqualified, unprofessional, unresponsible, unorganized notaries out there. I speak from experience. I do have a signing service, and I do hire quite a few notaries every month to execute signings for me across the nation, and I've come with quite a few of them that I try not to blacklist on the first thing that makes me upset, and I give them another shot. But once you do it 2 times, 2 different things, but you make me upset twice, it's like, I'm sorry, but I have to blacklist you. Like, I don't want to work with you. And so I've gone through so many notaries that, number one, when I'm sending out the notifications, like, are you available for a signing? Are you available for a signing? It takes me at least 10 to 20 notaries before I find one that says yes. So that's one of the reasons that's one of the main things I've seen lately, number one. Number two is they're not professional, they're not qualified. I did have a notary recently. She was just so unprofessional. She was rude. She sent scambacks to me. She sent them in 3 separate files, scattered all over the place. Nothing was in place. There was random scans in there. And I had to go back in there and put these scans in orders for me to send them to title. And so I don't think that is professional. And I told her, let's just say, not working with her again. There's been a lot of instances of a lot of different little things like that. She was great with the clients. She was great executing the signing, but then the communication, we lacked communication. I called her 3 times, emailed her, texted her, I need scambacks. I told her I need scambacks within 2 hours. I did not get scambacks within 2 hours because she had other signings, and she should have told me before she accepted mine, because I do ask in the tax. Scambacks are required within 2 hours. So little things like that. You want to always make sure that when you accept the signing, you do have full responsibility over the signing and the requirements in that signing. And if you can't meet those, do not accept them, or be straight up with the signing service and let them know beforehand. Not just ghost them for a couple hours, because that is very frustrating for us and for the title company. So yeah, there is a lot of unqualified, uneducated, untrained notaries. You have to make sure that when you get into this, you don't get into this just because the money, just because it's a quick, easy side hustle. And when you get into this, you do have to make sure that you do have the education that you need. Like, we do need additional trainings, not just the NNA. The NNA is not going to fulfill your trainings. It's not going to give you the full-on trainings that you need. The NNA is a very broad, basic training that'll help you get started and your feet in the industry, but there is a lot of gaps and missed information when you take just the NNA. The next one is that there is far less competition. Like I was saying, it takes me like 10 to 15, 20 notaries before I get one that says, yes, I'm available. And that is because, one, a lot of notaries did quit the business when this stopped being as busy as it was, because a lot of notaries did start going full-time, and then it was just there wasn't as much business. And you do have to work harder to get your word out there. It's not as easy as just clicking a text and saying, yes, I'm available, because there wasn't as much business going around. So a lot of notaries did quit the business, or a lot of them did come back to just being part-time, just a side hustle. And so there is a lot more available to those who do want to become notaries. I feel like when you don't really have anything to compare it to from like the previous years, and you come in with a fresh set of eyes and a fresh new perspective, you do have a lot more chances of succeeding than when you look back and are always like so negative about it, and about the current market and about your current business. For example, just always constantly thinking, oh my god, this time around last year I was at like $7,000-8,000 a month, what's going on? And when you come in with a fresh set of eyes and a new perspective, and you really have to work your way to the top and work extra hard, because the business is not just handed to us anymore, it just really makes you a much better business owner, a much better notary. So this is honestly like the best time ever to start your notary business. Another pro is you really just make as much money as you are willing to put into it. And that's like the beauty of it. It's not like a 9-to-5 job where it doesn't matter how much you work, how extra you work, how amazing you are at something, you're always going to be making the same amount per hour, the same amount every check if you're a salary. Yeah, you might get a raise here and there, but you don't really get out of it what you put into it. And when it comes to your own business and your own clients and your own notary business, you do. The work that you put into it is what you're going to get in return, what you'll receive in return. That just really opens a lot of possibilities for you, because if you work really, really hard, you can make a really good living off of it, really good money off of it. But you really have to work your butt off. Continuously marketing, continuously just growing your business, community events, community outreach programs, referrals, trying to find referrals, and social media. There's so many different ways that you can grow your business, and you just have to really work for it. And the great thing is you really make, like, there's no one's gonna tell you you can only make $5,000 and that's it. You can't make more than that. Like, no one's gonna tell you that. If you work really, really extra hard, you can make as much as you want to make, as much as you are willing to work for. And that's like the beauty of it. I remember when it got really, really busy and I was just flooded in work, and it was amazing, but also a little burned out. But I was like, this is beautiful, because right now I have so much work. People are constantly still calling me, and I can work as much as I want to. If I want to say no, which I never did, I could, or I could say yes and work hard for it and make a lot of money. The other pro is the freedom that it gives you, to just be with family and enjoy those moments. Honestly, I remember that even when I was sick, I was still working, because it just, not that I needed to by any means, or that my clients didn't understand, but it was just, I really loved working to the point where it didn't feel like it was work. It was it's my business. Like, it doesn't feel like it's work, truly. And so even when I am sick, I'm still out there taking signings and working on whatever I can work on, because I love it so much. And it doesn't mean that I don't give myself rest. I do really try to prioritize rest more nowadays than before, but it's just, it never felt like work. Even when I was doing it for like 8-10 hours a day, it never felt like work. It never felt like something that I dreaded. It never felt like a burden. It was something that I looked forward to. I enjoyed doing. It's something that really fulfills me, and I feel so excited to go and do. Like, whenever I get a signing, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go sign a new homeowner. Like, that is just so exciting to be part of that. And it also gives you a lot of freedom. Like, there were days where I didn't have any signings, and so I had freedom to go and visit my grandparents or spend some time with my mom. Or there was times where all of my schedule was mainly in the afternoon, so I had time to spend in the morning with my mom and just go out on coffee dates. I could just really work on my schedule the way that I wanted to. It obviously had to be convenient to the client, but to me as well. And so I can work around things and around my family's birthdays and be there when I wanted to be there. Just the freedom that it gives you really is amazing. And then sometimes when you think about it, honestly, you can make $150 in one signing appointment. If you work a 9 to 5, making about $20 an hour, 8 hours of your time, you'll make $150, around $150. And you'll make that in one signing. That'll take you like an hour, including driving time sometimes, to complete. And then you have the rest of the time to work on your marketing, work on other things, work on social media, work on other hobbies that you like. It's honestly a really amazing business. But let me just wrap up this video. If you didn't already grasp that throughout the entire video, this is honestly one of the best times to grow your notary business. It is a great time to get into the business and work hard, educate yourself, take additional trainings, do a lot of marketing, different types of marketing, not just going into the offices, but also like community events or sponsored event, or show up at an event with business cards and flyers, or open houses, social media, do those reels and TikToks that you don't feel quite comfortable with, but they do go a long way. I just really hope that this video was inspiring and inspirational if you've been thinking about becoming a notary public but not 100% sure because you keep hearing about the business and the slow business and what's been going on lately with the market. You focus on you and the things that you can control, which is how you react, how you work, what you bring to the table, and how educated you are, and forget about the things that you can't control. That you like this video. I hope that you found it helpful, and I will see you in my next video. Have a great day. God bless. Bye.